Oh, my name is Andrew Robinson. I'm going to be the first negative rebuttal. Or, sorry. Okay. So, Andrew stated that the FCC is going to try to regulate what net neutrality says is the FCC is going to regulate the internet, or the net, which in turn is what net neutrality is. He states that Comcast was slowing Netflix and is the largest internet service provider. Comcast is the largest internet service provider in the United States with 40% of the workforce, with 40% of their workforce consisting of engineers. Net neutrality is first and foremost an engineering issue that is set up by that stems primarily from the networking management challenges the network engineers are faced with. During early 2000s, there was a sharp rise in picture-rich internet service, like internet websites. And starting after 2003, there was also a large rise in peer-to-peer file sharing, which included videos and other heavy media files. This led to companies such as YouTube creating massive websites with large bandwidth use. These large bandwidth use websites are what is causing the slowing of the internet, which also in turn creates a large impact on the internet service providers such as Comcast, running into problems of bandwidth. He also states that the slowing of Netflix being illegal to the United States Constitution, but in contrary, it is Comcast's decision does not uproot the Commissioner's authority regulating internet service providers. Section 201B of the Act, which cites that the argument of commissions, but not addressed by the court on preceding grounds, can grant the Commission authority to regulate broadband and internet services when rendering changes, practices, and regulations for and connecting with common carriers services unjust and unreasonable. Internet bandwidth is also a finite resource that needs to be allocated somehow, whether it be the politicians that are allocating it with net neutrality or free market allocating it without net neutrality. Tim Wu, an expert in this in the field of networking, proposed that net neutrality claims that current internet is not neutral as among all applications. With net neutrality being passed, implementation of the best efforts generally by the government would lead to favoring file transfers from people to people, which is peer-to-peer sharing of files, rather than real-time broadcast traffic communication, such as voice chat, video chat, or any other real-time, time-based internet uses. For Comcast being a common carrier, as Andrew states, based on the definition in 1996 Telecom Act, the FCC classified cable broadband as an information service. As a result, it is not treated as a common carrier service. This was encouraged innovation and investment in private infrastructures and precluded unnecessary government intervention. This means that the internet service providers are not a common carrier because they are creating information from computer to computer, which goes through different sources and routes to one another, rather than it going straight to the source. If the government were to intervene with net neutrality, that would mean that the government would have to verify that internet service providers are creating and using their bandwidth properly and not regulating any, and they are not regulating things improperly. This means that the government would have to install hardware and different softwares onto the internet service providers' facilities to track their access and use of the internet, which in turn means that we have to trust the government and other governments being able to spy on our internet use and internet, and to judge if it is the correct way deemed by the government. Government cannot move fast enough to efficiently regulate internet and technology because by the time that the government is reaching a change in debate, the debate becomes irrelevant from time change and technology advancing. This leads to the term common carriers being used for internet service providers not being efficient enough or not being effective enough to be a part of this term, since it is not the same thing as telephones, which would be from person to person directly, rather than internet, which goes from one place to another place, which goes through the servers and then to someone else. And that is mine.